It has been a while, but that just means that more time has passed, and now it is inevitably RWBY season. Wow. Feels like just yesterday I was talking about Volume 6 and where things go from there, and now Volume 7 is... Oh, a good 4 or 5 months away. Yikes. That means I have a lot of catching up to do. And first things first meant reading this after the fall, which was a good book. Like, there's no way to sugarcoat it, folks. This was a good piece of literature to read through. So, you know, as we learned from, I think it was RTX of last year, when it was first announced, we learned we'd be following Coffee after the fall of Beacon, which was nice. It was nice to hear that we would be learning more about these side characters that a lot of people fell in love with, and now we actually get to learn more about them. And let me tell you, this book is full of some juicy little lore bits, and it's crazy. You would obviously this stuff was like put in the book because you couldn't have time to show, but it just goes to show you how interesting it could be to learn about some of these characters that don't get enough of the spotlight. Like, I don't think a lot of people really care about Fox before this book came out. Like, I know I didn't, not gonna lie. Like, he's just a guy. He was just the F in Team Coffee, you know? I think the only one people really kind of cared about was Coco, Velvet, and kind of Yatsuhashi. But now, after reading through this, I can say I have a good appreciation of all of them. So, through the book, we learn that, you know, after the fall of Beacon, Team Coffee moved to Shade Academy in Vacuo, and they've kind of been working there, and that's their new school. They transferred there. And it starts us off as they're on a mission kind of to protect a settlement who sent out a distress signal. This settlement is led by an elderly woman named Slate, I believe, and, you know, she's she reminded me a lot, like, of Maria Calavera from Volume 6, kind of like the sassy old lady of the group, which was nice. I hope we see her. I think with all the characters that were introduced in this book, I hope we see them at some point or another, or maybe even referenced in the main show. I think that'd be pretty cool. What can I say? We also learned that with this settlement is 2 huntsmen, Carmine Escalados, I think, and Bertolac Celadon, I believe is their names, and how they're pronounced at least. And they are 2 huntsmen who graduated from Vacuo, and they are operating in Shade. They are with this settlement to protect an elderly huntsman and his grandson, who they were hired to protect, and get through the desert into a little secluded place so them 2 can be by themselves. They kind of butt heads with Team Coffee, and as they go throughout their journey through the desert. Now, throughout the book, we learn more about the members of Team Coffee. We learn that Coco's semblance allows her to enhance the power and efficiency of dust-related things, so that's how she was kind of tearing through Grimm in Volume 2, Chapter 12, The Breach. That's kind of how she was just wrecking house. Velvet, we already knew her semblance. Yatsuhashi has memory erasing, which is a very powerful semblance, something that could come in handy a lot, actually. And we learned that when he was a kid, he used it to kind of fuck with his parents' minds, and he messed around and made them forget his little sister even existed. And after that, he kind of got spooked, and he doesn't really like to use it that much anymore. He'll maybe use it to erase a second or 2 off his opponent just to kind of make him a bit dazed. But that's about to the extent he'd use it now. Fox, we learn, he's blind. So that's not his his semblance is that he is blind. No, his semblance is telepathy. He can he can communicate with people through their minds. However, he has to be the one to initiate it, and it drains through his aura pretty rapidly, I'd say. And then, yeah, that's it. That's their semblances. And all in all, they have some pretty overpowered and unique semblances. I don't know what I was expecting from them, but I'd say with what we got, it was pretty good, pretty interesting. The 2 other huntsmen, Carmine and Bertolac, we learned that Carmine's semblance is telekinesis. There we go. As you know, the sign for telekinesis. And Bertolac has the ability to increase the heat around him so much so that he can make glass out of sand. Cool. And then the two the old man, the elderly huntsman, and his grandson that they were hired to protect. Edward is the old man, and Gus is his grandson. We learn that Edward's semblance, the old man, is the ability to block out people's semblances, and Gus's is the ability to increase whatever emotions people are feeling. And this actually is one of the main conflicts of the book. So Gus is still a young boy, he's like 7, 10, 11, real young. He can't control it that well. So he's accidentally causing the people in the settlement's emotions to get out of control. This really sucks whenever it's fear, anger, the negative emotions that attract Grimm. And, you know, the settlement's kind of been losing people because of it to the Grimm. Speaking of, there's like 5 new Grimm in this book that are like brand new, never before seen. There is the Ravagers, which showed up in Amity Arena, a really good game. They're like these little bat creatures, kind of flock and storm, similar like Nevermore's, I think, was the comparison made. There's a Ziraf, a giant 3-headed giraffe leopard thing, Grimm. A Dromedon, a camel that spits venom like you do. A Jackalope, a giant antelope deer thing. And a blind worm, which is like a huge Grimm. Like they said, it was like the length of like 5 Goliaths, and it has like a bunch of like rotating teeth at the center and an eye in the center, you know. And if it's cut in half, 2 more will grow. So pretty rough thing to deal with. There's also like a lot of stuff we learned about Vacuo. We learned that Vacuo is home to a lot of wildlife that isn't just Grimm, like giant turtles and mud crabs. And we learned that Vacuo is run by some cat named Professor Theodore. He is the headmaster. Now, he seems, I don't think we really like saw him. We just heard his name mentioned in passing a lot. But from what I heard, he doesn't seem like a Lionheart kind of guy or an Ironwood kind of guy. He just seems kind of chill in Vacuo. He doesnlike he's gonna betray anybody, and he doesn't seem overly paranoid. So he's kind of cool in my book. Of the headmasters that are still around, he seems like a pretty good one. Trying to think, what other info were we given? So at the end of After the Fall, it is revealed that Bertilac and Carmine were hired not by Edward and Gus to protect them. They were hired by some other crime boss to deliver Edward and Gus to that boss, because he or she, whoever the boss is hunting people with powerful semblances. I would say it was Salem, if I didn't already have information from RTX 2019 that I'll get to in a bit, but it's interesting that this is a thing that happens in the world of Remnant. People looking for people with strong semblances. The only question is, what for? So what? You find someone with a powerful semblance, and they are brought to you. What do you do then? My theory is that whoever their boss is has the ability to steal other people's semblance, much like Marcus Black, Mercury's father. So, who knows? Or like All for One from My Hero Academia. So, who knows? You don't know. But it is revealed that they are, bad guys. So Coffee has to rough them up a bit, got to put on the work a bit, and they, get them arrested. And Coffee meets up with Team Sun at Shade Academy. Now, Team Sun catches them up about the events that happened at Haven, meaning that After the Fall takes place, or ends, right around the time that Volume 5, that would mean, if Sun is already, and his crew already back in Vacuo, that would mean it takes place sometime around Volume 6, is around this time end, because if they're meeting up with Team Sun, that means Sun already said goodbye to Blake at the beginning of Episode 1 of Volume 6, and he's already gotten back to Vacuo with his boys. So, that's kind of like the timeline we're working with right now. Pretty cool. Pretty cool that they're keeping it kind of up to date. So that's where we leave off, And they seem like they intend to stay at Shade for a hot minute. Now, some other interesting tidbits we get from the book, from flashbacks to the Beacon days, we learned that Team Coffee had a mission, the mission they were on in Volume 2 that they got back from, the one that prevented them from, planning the Beacon Ball. When they get back, Velvet was just like, there's so many of them, luckily I had Yasuhashi for me. That turns out to be a lie. Their mission involved rescuing a village that when they got there was just completely decimated. No survivors, except a family hiding in a cave. However, when Team Coffee shows up to save them, the father of that family is killed by a Grimm, and then the rest of the family is crushed by a Goliath. And Team Coffee has to watch this, and they fail. They don't rescue this family, and they're traumatized by it. And when Velvet was like, oh, it was just so many of them, she was lying because she didn't want to freak Team RWBY out because they were just first years. That's crazy. That's crazy, and it makes sense. And it calls back to Volume 2, and it's sad because they went through that, and that's what's up, I guess, you know? That's an interesting tidbit that we have now. We learned that the partners for their initiation was Coco and Fox and Velvet and Yatsuhashi. Velvet was apprehensive at first about Yatsu because he's from Mistral, and most people from Mistral are racist towards Faunus, but Yatsuhashi actually shows that he wants to be better and doesn't want to be like those people, so that's nice. We learned Fox, you know, he has a little device for people with disabilities like blindness that helps them see and allows them to like kind of know what's going on around him. That's a really, it's called Ada. It's a really interesting piece of thing to add to the world that we now know exists. Cool beans. Yada yada boom boom. I think, let me think. I'm trying to think if there are any more interesting lore bits from After the Fall that we got, but what I will say, what I really liked about this book, I think, was it was nice to take a break from saving the world. You know, Team Coffee obviously isn't wrapped up in all that Salem stuff. And I think with them, their main goal just being protect this settlement, fight off some bad huntsmen, and get these people to safety, with that just being their main goal, I think that really was a nice little breather. It was nice that I didn't, as I was reading, that I wasn't constantly worried about the fate of the entire world, you know? It was smaller scale. Smaller scale is the nice word for it, and I think that also worked in its favor. You know, nice little cover art too. As you can see, I bought this bad boy physical because I wanted to have it as a memento because I really like the stuff from RWBY. You know, what can I say? Little backlinks, little blurb from E.C. Myers. This cat, he knows what he's doing. He kind of knows what he's doing. And now I will use that as a segue into RTX 2019. I did not go, obviously, but it was confirmed. So now I'm going to go into the stuff that was confirmed at RTX 2019. Speaking of E.C. Myers and him knowing what he's doing, it was confirmed there that he will be writing a sequel to this book. Yes, yes. After the Fall, the squeakquel is called RWBY Before the Dawn, and the official like little synopsis of it is Team Coffee and Team Sun are at Shade, kind of just booling. And Professor Theodore, the headmaster of Shade, he's kind of tripping, you know, he's kind of bugging out a bit. So what he does is he's having everyone, all the students at Shade, redo their initiation, meaning that the teams are getting split up, meaning that there's going to be new team combinations in... What? Is that allowed? Can he do that? Like, it's crazy. I didn't think this was something that they would, like, do or a path that they would tread, but I guess that's what they're going to do. I guess there's going to be new teams. Team Sun is getting split up. Team Coffee is getting split up. What's going to happen? I don't know. They also go to mention that Carmine and Bertilac's boss, the one who is collecting people with powerful semblances, goes by the name of the Crown. Interesting. Who could the Crown be? I don't know. You don't know. Maybe you do know, and you're seeing this in the future after it has already been revealed and it's common knowledge who the Crown is. Maybe I'm stupid, probably, but as of this right now, no idea who the Crown would be. Some theories. I want to say I maybe throw out Watts' name. I know back when he was fucking around at Beacon with the little scrolls and hacking the Atlas military, his like little symbol is like a little chess piece or whatever, like a little queen chess piece, or maybe he's the Crown. Maybe they are working, because like my original thought when reading After the Fall was that their boss was Salem, or at least loosely connected to Salem. Like maybe they don't know exactly who it is, but it's still Salem, you know. But now I'm thinking maybe the Crown is a completely new person, just a random crime lord, or maybe they are connected to Salem. We don't know. That's just kind of my theories that I'm spinning based off the synopsis. So also at RTX 2019, we got some information about the DC Comics comic book that they're making for RWBY and Genlock. Pretty good. They said it's going to take place around the time of after Volume 3, pre-Volume 4 kind of era. see what the girls are getting up to right then. I'm all for it. We also got confirmation about the RWBY lore book, which, ooh, I'm so excited about. I love like little concept art and like behind the scenes stuff about shows like this, so I think it'll be really interesting when I finally get my grubby little mitts on it in October. What else did they show? Oh right, Volume 7. So they showed some footage. Apparently the footage they showed, was WIP, work in progress stuff. And it showed Team RWBY, Crow, and all the whole crew, the whole gang, fighting some saber-toothed tiger-inspired Grims in Mantle, the slums of Atlas, and pretty cool. And then we got the reveal, the big one, the one that everybody's kind of talking about, the one people can't shut up about, the brand new outfits. Now, let me tell you, I was kind of on the fence about whether or not we'd be getting Atlas outfits. I wasn't too sure. I was like, will we, won't we? I don't know. I wasn't too sure. But then I saw them, and I was like, whoa. They're kind of fresh. I mean, what can I say? They're kind of sick, nasty. Like, RWBY's got a new hairdo. She's kind of got some spiked anime hair. She's got some shorts that look like. She looks cool. Weiss has got like a nice little long braid. She's kind of like armored up. Still got that combat skirt though, but Weiss is kind of looking fitted. Blake cut her hair. She's got the bob cut. She's got a nice little white jacket. She's got a new gamble shroud. It looks like a katana, like a long sword now. Yang's got a bomber jacket. She's got Ember Celica back, like both pieces back. She's got some like a Vernal kind of inspired pants. Like one is like hiked pulled all the way up and everything. The other's down, but they look like they can like zip off, kind of like they can make like booty shorts. She's like unzips the pant legs and throws them off. I don't know. It looks fire though. I'm down. And it also makes me hopeful that we'll maybe get some redesigns for Crow, Team Junior. Oscar already got his. He's fine. Maria, I think she's fine too. Maybe Emerald and Mercury? I don't know. Ooh, I'm excited though. They mentioned that it would be releasing November 2nd, but it may be pushed back depending on how they're feeling about the progress, which thumbs all the way up, I know some people are pretty bummed about it being delayed, and, it's typically an October release. I'll admit, I was kind of bummed, but I'm actually but looking back on it now, I think I'm a lot more happy that they're really taking the time to put in the extra oomph and make sure that this is the best it can be, and I think this will really end up benefiting them in the long run. No character short, all the resources are getting put into Volume 7. Love it. They also added 2 new writers. Their names completely slipped my mind at the moment. I should have prepared, but I'm confident that they'll be doing good. I know one of them wrote for Red versus Blue, and the other is like an actually like acclaimed author. I think they should why don't they get E.C. Myers on the team? Get him on the board. That'd be dope. 5 writers: Miles, Carey, E.C. Myers. Other 2, I forget their names. Get them and have them all working as a team. That'd be pretty cool. But I think that the fact that they have added these 2 new writers is a sign that they're willing to see that maybe, hey, some other people on board could only help. If some extra hands goes a long way, especially in a work like this. Collaboration is always important, which is cool. I like it. They also mentioned that. What else did they mention? I think that's of all the important things they mentioned. I think those were them. I know they said that, like, they hinted at Weiss's mother making an appearance, something I could have called. As long as Team Funky makes an appearance, that's all that matters. Like, if Team Funky shows up, bro, this will be the best volume. I don't care what happens. If Team Funky is in this volume, nothing else that happens will matter. Volume 7 will instantly be the best volume. I don't make the rules. I'm sorry. That's just how it goes. But, hey. So, given what we now know about Volume 7 and all the information and tidbits that have been released via RTX, I think information is going to kind of slow down until November rolls around. I don't think we're going to get, because no character shorts, no, what's the one I'm looking for? We'll probably get a trailer, but that's like always, but that'll probably be around like late October, as November is kind of like rearing its head, if November 2nd does prove to be the release date that they end up going with. But I'd say things are looking pretty good right now. Volume 6 was overall a really great improvement from the rest. You know, every volume they seem to make just gets better and better. So, considering how good Volume 6 was, I can't even imagine how good Volume 7 will be and turn out being. Pee Pee Poo Poo, Pee Pee Poo Poo. After the Fall, a great book, honestly. Like, if you're, I can't recommend it enough if you're a fan of the show. Oh yeah, Team Bronze is dead. Team Bronze is confirmed dead in this book. Can you imagine all of them? Bronze, Roy, Nolan, May, Deadski. Good riddance. No, I'm joking. I like them, but RIP in peace. Miss you every day, big guys. But yeah, I'd give RWBY After the Fall 9 out of 10. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, that's pretty much everything RWBY related that I think needed to be covered. I'd say going into Volume 7, just the Atlas arc I think is looking really promising. So keep up the good work, fellas, and I'll see you November 2nd, I guess.